Welcome back, everyone. Here in our broadcast for CrossFIRE Philippines, it is still the CFS SAE Masters 2026 Summer, wherein you're joined by your panel, Mochi and Bipolar, still for our current matchup that is going to be Veteran against Virtus.pro. And this is gonna be really interesting to see, Bipolar.
It's gonna be fun, Mochi. It's Veteran versus Virtus.pro, right? Veteran has always been looking highly upon Veteran, and seeing their performance recently, I feel like they put them in a pedestal that is very, very high right now compared to Stallions. Veteran has always been a force to be reckoned with, but I would like to actually see who's gonna be playing for today, right? Because we know any kind of roster, any kind of switch up, any kind of substitution for Veteran can work, despite the lack of fires, despite players here going up. Everyone now works out. Shock and Drones definitely gonna be running it for the back here to actually give some firepower up against Virtus.pro. We might see another scenario wherein duguan na naman si Cetra ang maririg natin doon, but Veteran has been trying to do this together with Twintism, right? And as well as EV9, and hopefully this map Vito will be better than we had in Taring Babi and as well as Atras.
Hopefully, indeed. And I do assume that there's gonna be just a bit more closer due to the feats that Veteran has been able to improve on. And speaking of Veteran, let us break down our team, because we do know that there are some very vital players here that we need to look after. It is specifically Regnard, EV9, and alongside with Fires, and
Ooh,
even
Fires.
Fantism in the mix here, who's been able to actually perform very, very well in high pressure situations. I feel like he can already add that in his resume.
Yeah, if Fires is here, he's gonna be playing, right?
Yeah, I do think so, since he's here,
Yeah, so
which is great.
so Drones will be out of the game right now. Drones also was a very good factor for Veteran, right? But we had that conversation last time that we have a big promise for any kind of player that will be playing for Veteran, just because they have been here before and they have been improving nonetheless. So yes, substitution is clear. Fires will be playing for today, and Drones will be going out for a possible walk or just trying to do some important things in the matter. So yeah, Fires, you're welcome to come back anytime, bro. And I'm just happy to see it that they're gonna be doing it up against Virtus.pro. But yeah, Fires, he needs to be on that AK, man. He has been doing some, some versatility with the HKs and as well as AK-47s, but up against Virtus.pro, I would like to see him in the AK department so that he can outfrag KSA and as well as Elvin on that AK. But look at that, man. Veteran still has 2 fights after this. They have Virtus.pro today, and then on Sunday they'll be fighting up against Vervale. So 2 very high caliber teams. So Veteran, you better be ready after that win coming in from Taringba.
Exactly. And you know what? That win is a default win. So I don't know what to win Veteran, but every
A win
single
is
time. Every single time. Since spring until now, they always have like a one win, and it is a default one, which makes me think why. And are they like putting quite of a blessing or
Yes,
something
you
in
can
this
do it,
house,
Mochi. You can do it.
yeah, but I'm just wondering what's happening with that. Is really interesting. But we have a question here for Regnard, and the question is, what will be the preparation for the last week of this Masters? And he said, our final week of preparation was even harder training to get the team's first win for us. So that is
Wow.
exactly their priority here, and we are vouching and awaiting for that to happen, Regnard. Don't you worry.
I love that this is coming from Regnard, right? He is actually gunning it for not just, not like the past
Yes.
interviews, even for the spring, like they want to just keep on fighting these teams. That's always been their answer. But now they're actually in that goal where they want their first win. And if they do that up against Virtus.pro and as well as for Vid, it is gonna be glorious for not just Veteran, not just for their country, but for the rest of Rosea. This is a scary lineup, to be honest, Mochi. You have EV9,
Mm-hmm.
Reknats, Wintism, Shock, and Fires. And just from the sheer fact that Fires is here, it is going to be one hell of a fight. But yeah, Veteran, they're still up against Virtus.pro, so it's still going to be very, very tough.
Exactly. It is definitely a challenge. Well, they've been able to get an inch for a bit, especially during their last fight against VP. But here for Virtus.pro, specifically with how they're looking right now, well, this is a bit more scarier than ever. So let's talk about them a bit more as we just point out which specific players here are definitely some factors that is actually changing the game here for Virtus.pro, because specifically here for KillR, it does seem like he is already giving out the, I don't know, maybe this might be some workout that he might be doing, heading onto our players here, some warming up, because little by little he's getting that KD up and running alongside with the rest of the members here, especially when it comes to KSAE being able to get some multiple highlights here. For Setter and Yubib, that's already quite of a constant, but they're a lot more stable now that they are changing their internal operations here, and as they say, their experimentation phase is now over.
Yeah, you know what, Virtus.pro, with their experimentation phase down already, or done already, you have Virtus.pro that is very well prepared for any kind of, especially here for Veteran. I would like to see Veteran letting Zero to walk more or stand more, because if that happens, we know that
Oh yeah, that's true.
things are about to get, heated for
Yeah.
these two teams, right? Because that's when you know that Virtus.pro is in a lot of action, when Zero is actually doing a lot in the backstage or in the backs of these players. But yeah, looking at their journey so far, only a loss coming from Execration, mostly 2-0s, right? Up against CBF though, it did became somewhat of a question mark for us, but almost a beautiful win streak here for Virtus.pro. It's Veteran now up against them, and they'll be batting up against STS on Sunday, the 5th of July, which is going to be tomorrow, actually.
Yeah.
So, Virtus.pro, you have one fight here as a warm-up or as a breather before you head on to the big stage. But yeah, you have to not, not think small about Veteran, because Veteran have been a force to be reckoned with as well, especially with the lower teams here in Master Summer.
I do think that they acknowledge that. I remember coach even saying last time when they went against them is that they can contact them anytime, or even ask for scrimmages, maybe additional advice in order to actually catch up. Speaking of Coach 02 here, we have a question for him going into the last week. It's still pretty much the same question. What is the mindset going forward? Well, the answer here by coach is that they're locked in, and the goal isn't just to win, it's to crush the competition and prove that we are untouchable locally. And this actually supports what Cetra has been able to mention last time when we were interviewing him, is that they want to reclaim or redeem what's initially there. So I feel like there's already the direction and the step moving forward in order to attain that goal.
Actually, this is we know this to be his first thoughts, right, coming into the first day of the group stage. But actually, I want to give a challenge to you, Coach Shane, Coach 02. You're saying that you want to be untouchable for the local scene, but hopefully you do that as well in the international scene, because we know that you are gunning it for that EW spot as well, even for that CFS in the later part of 2026.
Fair.
So hopefully, you also have that in the bag, that it's not just locally that you want to be untouchable, but also in the international scene.
Exactly. So I do think that we can also point out some specific members here from each of the team, and it is going to be Twintism alongside Cetra. I actually like this comparison here by Polar, because honestly here for Twintism, he seems a very, very stable, but is yet to attain the same caliber as we have here for Cetra, as actually treating the TRG as part of his body, technically.
Yeah. You know what? This head-to-head is actually very fair, despite it being like a 2 times on that KD ratio for Zetra and Twintism, right? They have similar playstyles, Mochi. Very aggressive, very forward, and relies on those pistols a lot to get those close quarter angles cleared out. But the difference here is Zetra is using a Colt, Twintism is also using that USP. And there's also something to also look out, because these two teams, just like what Zetra said before, and even if it's a 1v4, even if it's a 1v5, he will always try. He is not scared to go for that clutch, and that is what we see from Twintism time to time. And I want to see this where these two fraggers, these two snipers are really gonna be going head to head, especially if you think about it. If they go in a map like a port or possibly Ankara, these two snipers are something to look out for.
Exactly. And Although, in addition to that, I feel like the main difference is that Cedra has someone to back him up, but here for Tontissim, it's
Oh
still
yeah,
quite of a 50-50. And I hope that
yeah.
Veteran will be able to work on that structure real soon. But right now, we can already point out which would be the maps that they will be playing on, and
Port
especially if they'll
Ankara.
be giving some
Oh,
priorities.
oh, it is Port Ankara.
Oh, okay. We
Oh.
have Port and Ankara, but it seems like we have quite of a priority in Eagle Eye for the first map
Mm.
here from Veteran Bipolar, which might raise some eyebrows because I also expected that Port will be our first map, but hey, there's something else that they want to incorporate in here.
Okay, reasoning why we want Port and Ankara here is because these two teams know how to play it very much. But it would be a big challenge for Veteran, right, up against Virtus.pro in Port because this is
Yes.
their mainstay. But Eagle Eye 2.0, this was not in my book, Mochi. I was expecting sub-base for all maps. But Eagle Eye
Right.
2.0, they're starting on the GR side. They don't have drones. They don't have that double sniper potential for Veteran here. So they'll be banking on a shock, they'll be banking on fires, and as well as EV9 for these entryways and these holds up on these GR side. This mid push or this high mid position on the GR side will be very crucial. If they give that
Mm.
away, especially for Elvin as well as KSA, they'll be having a pretty tough time. But they will be ending on the good side though, which is gonna be the BL. So if they do have at least like 3 rounds here, I don't quite necessarily see an impossible task here for Veteran. But yeah, Port, different kind of stones, right? Different kind of playing ground. Even though Port is a big map for Veteran, it's still one of the best maps of Virtus.pro.
Yes, I agree. And I feel like a lot of people would vouch for that sentiment as well. And that is why, when it comes to our predictions, we will be leaning more toward Virtus Pro. Or maybe totally, right? Because just by given with the current status and as well as improvements that they've been able to rack up from the first week until now, well, it is undeniable that Virtus Pro is definitely vouching for that top one spot here in our standing so far if it weren't for execution, honestly. But at the same time, well, it's just Virtus Pro being able to ensure that their internal is
Mm-hmm.
always on the top here, and that is currently what they're fighting for and still proving up to this point.
Yeah, you know what, Mochi? I feel like Veteran, we love them. You know that, guys, very, very well.
Yes.
But it's Virtus Pro at the end of the day. We also love them to a point. So giving them 2-0 here is actually gonna be, something to really hold on to. But Veteran,
Mm.
first time that we see a Rosé team only having 5%, honestly. So I feel like everybody knows in the community that Virtus Pro is a beast coming into Masters Summer, right? So Veteran, prove us wrong. Make that
Yeah.
5% in a 95%
Get a
as well,
map.
and let's see,
Mm.
get a map, get something out of this because you have been preparing your for an entire year up against Virtus.pro.
Yes, and I do think that they'll be also having their slots reserved once that we head on to regionals. So I do think that they would get the chance, and hopefully they would get the chance just in order to be and flow with the current that we currently have here in our CROSSFIRE scene. And we can actually dive into this further as we welcome our casters here on our desk. So let us now welcome Ramon and as well as Elle. Hi guys, welcome into here, and it's nice that we're having the same heights finally. But other than that, hello Ravo, do you have any words of affirmations you could share to Veteran right now? Because I do think that they'll need it against Virtus Pro.
Uh, just a few things, right? Good luck, have fun, and pray as much as you can because this up against Virtus Pro, it's definitely something that the things that you can only see in nightmares, right? But hopefully we get a good show and hopefully we
Yeah.
do see fires on the top level like he usually does in the veteran games.
Yeah, hopefully, because we haven't seen Fires before Jones was playing, and we all know how important Fires is for the team of Veteran. But how about you, Elle? Do you have any thoughts with this current matchup of ours?
I mean, you guys are really forgetting the number one thing for this Eagle Eye. They picked this versus Atlas and they went to overtime, right? So I'm really thinking that with Fires in play, it's going to be not as much of a beating It's more of a contest, and let's see if their Eagle Eye can
Yeah.
really hold up to the Masters. Where in Virtus.pro, actually, they currently suck at Eagle Eye. They only won 1 out of 3.
Oh gosh, I didn't expect that to come from you,
Oh
but hey,
gosh.
if it's the stats, yeah. And I am also wondering if Veteran could do or replicate the same outcome, because you know what? Props to Veteran being able to perform that well in Eagle Eye, and I do think that here for Veteran, well, the question is, will Veteran bow to the plow? Do you think that this is
Ooh.
the drill here or the drift here bipolar? Interesting headline.
I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like we all know that they will just bow down immediately up against the players of Virtus.pro, right? Because yes, they can steal something out of it. Yes, they can go overtime. Yes, they can be someone to root for. But at the end of the day, can they really do that though? Up
Mhm.
against Virtus.pro,
I have an
I
answer to
am
that.
very, very
Yeah.
doubtful, man. They're aiming for glory. They're aiming for validation. But if they want to do it, they have to do it here on Virtus.pro side. But it's looking like it's gonna be a downslope already. And I feel like what we saw from Heck yesterday, that he fell in the ground on the GR side on Eagle Eye 2.0, might happen as well here on Veteran. But it's a very fast execution coming in on the BL side of all things for Virtus.pro.
Actually, and I do think that here for Veteran, if they will be bowing, might as well make it forced, right? Ensure that you
Oh,
won't
yeah.
be giving that bow easily here for Virtus.pro. But we also
Hopefully.
have a gentleman sweep possible for Virtus.pro, which this might be the mercy. Do you think that this is mercy if Virtus.pro would be able to do this for Veteran? Ramon.
It could be implied. It could be implied, right? But to everybody's for everybody's knowledge, a gentleman sweep is a term used in sports where a team in a best-of-7 playoff series wins 4-1, implying that the dominant winning team graciously lets the losing team win one game so the opponent doesn't suffer the humiliation of being swept entirely. And it's within the line of Virtus.pro as a personality, right? I mean, they're the type in interviews that say that, oh, we kind of just let them off the leash, right? If they do get some close games, right? But it's still a Virtus.pro thing for them to actually get dominant wins just like these. If they're in the season to be very, very hot, they are absolutely fiery hot. And it also kind of supports the statement I'm about to give. Virtus.pro are in the best season yet so far. The form that we've been kind of expecting since PH Masters 2025. So hopefully they keep this momentum up, especially after this tune-up game, because SDS are going to need that energy.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like I can already imagine Coach actually saying here to the members to go 10-0 if they can here as a challenge against Veteran, because you know, it's just the personality and how they will ensure that everything that they've gone through so far is actually working. But here, Cetra is just out of this world. I feel like this is no longer new news. This is already old news, honestly, El.
Yeah, I mean, as the stats guy, right, I should just complement this headline with some stats, of course. And little do you know that when you compare Cetra and Kano in the stat lines, turns out Cetra's the better player, technically, right? Okay, let's break this down. Cetra is first and in kills per death, KD ratio, and survival rating. That means he gets the kills
Interesting.
and he gets the survival. That means he can clutch it out when need be, right? You see him at the Colts. Kano, on the other hand, he's first in kills per round and the plus minus. But funnily enough, also Cetra, he's second and fourth in those rankings. So technically, the only ranking that Cetra and Kano cannot really face off in is the headshots per kill. Because why would the
Yes.
sniper go for a headshot, right? But yeah, if you're talking about Cetra leading the stat lines, yeah, he's currently better and more consistent than Kano, and that just speaks to the capabilities of the sniper and why we are in a sniper era for our game.
That is definitely quite of a really important thing to point out here, especially when we head on to our match tomorrow for Team Stallions against Virtus.pro. And I guess we already have quite of a heads up heading on to that one, despite this being a veteran and a Virtus.pro matchup. But very substantial information that you have there, L. And right now, here in Eagle Eye, Everything is about to start and the action awaits, so it is just right to hand it over to our casters Ramon and El. Rakrakan na.
Thank you so much, Mochi and Bipolar. That is it. We will be talking about Veteran versus Virtus.pro, and in the map of Eagle Eye, you're right, El. The numbers don't lie. In the summer season, it is currently the maps where they kind of feel the less stable compared to a lot of the other ones, right? With that being said, it's still Virtus.pro at the end of the day, and to compare that up against Veteran, who really are just fighting for that first set win, it's definitely gonna be a huge challenge for the Rosea team.
Yeah, it's gonna be a huge challenge indeed, right? You're expecting that these matches could only go 2 maps. Well, depends if it's 3, right? It really depends if it's 3 here, Ramon. You don't really know what veterans can bring out in terms of their structure in Eagle Eye. As much as I hate to say that, I'm kind of a non-believer in it when it comes to them versus Virtus.pro. You really got to put some heart, some belief into, or rather some trust in the boys from Indonesia, because they've been really improving. And as I've said before, right, in their previous matches, I really do wish that the Fires could play in these kinds of situations, because what if Fires was there, right? What if the guy that's consistently putting out the numbers in the rifle with get his performance in, right? So we're not gonna be sure how that's gonna pan out versus Virtus.pro, because it's such a tough opponent. But I feel like we can hear how they're gonna be thinking about this match.
Makita mo gano'n tayo kagalupit.
Tash kaki, malupit.
Dulamid.
Ini deh. Ada bobar satu.
The first shot just like that, Ragnar, that he starts off strong with 1 with Velvin and KSA. Just as expected from VP. Definitely winning the gunfight so far, but EV9 will get the 2 kills. The jolt of energy needed for Veteran now falls on the shoulders of Twintism, but he's wrapped around in between. Going back to the A site, then wrapping all the way towards B site right now. But VP have A, and they also have the C4.
A very, very hard situation here for Twintism. He can almost get a whiff of Cetra, but he's not gonna be able to do so, right? So, as much as all things considered here, Ramon, Twintism is doing the right play here.
Tower.
He's playing like a Filipino indeed. He's going towards tower. Instead of just running around the map, he's gonna try to make a play here, and he can spot out Elvin, go for the plant, but is it open enough for him? He's not scoping enough, and he will be found out.
Didn't have the timing. Now has to wrap around towards LA this time. And up against Cetra. The baseline versus the one who's been topping the chart. He spots him out. But Cetra is just playing with his food at this very moment. 20 seconds. And the wraparound from Elvin is noted as well. If Twintism takes too much time, the Rat King is right behind him. But he's already on top of A.
Oh, wait!
Something of note. He is sticking for the defuse. But Cetra is just gonna hunt him down. 1-0 for Virtus.pro, but if he had 3 seconds, that would have been it.
Yeah, depends if it's 3, right, Ramon? It really depends if he had 3 seconds or 2. Matter of life and death, if you think about it. But yeah, you're always gonna just rush on an LB. I feel like this is disrespect here for Virtus.pro, because they're just gonna take the fight with the USP. A trade will happen though, courtesy of Fires, but KSA is right up here.
Didn't see Fires since he already tucked himself back in to cover. And a good awareness from Fires. He really needed to reinforce that LB position, despite the entry coming forward from Yobev. It did not come for free. And we're back into a 1-for-1 setup, and the C4 still in the hands of that mid player. So it isn't Virtus.pro back on their round 1 BS. They're not gonna push B site as quickly as possible.
So far, I feel like Virtus.pro, they just wanted to test the water if they can continue on with just holding W. KSA though has some ideas about to meet Twintism, and he's gonna win out that fight. So with the opening towards B site, you're gonna see veterans here try to wrap around, but they don't know about Cetra.
He knows all about them reading their movement. 2 kills from just the Colt. Exactly what you expect from Cetra. 1 year in development. And he's in his prime form in Virtus.pro with a shock in a 1v4, 35 seconds after the plant. And I don't feel that this is even a thought for the side of veteran. Shock trying to get the isolated frag. But there's just no hope. Everybody just wrapping all around him. Cetra again, just playing with his food, man. Just get the kill. It's a mercy for Shock at this point. But with all the time in the world, everything thrown at the kitchen sink, Shock is going to be happy to even get one. He doesn't even get one. Virtus.pro will take the 2-0.
Yeah, it doesn't matter whether Shock can go left or right, right? There's nothing right for him, nothing right left him to do in that kind of round. So far, Virtus.pro, it's kind of what we expected. In the replay, you're gonna see Yobib just running and through, fires there for the trade, all is good and well in the neighborhood, up until Cetra tries to, get this cheeky 3-tap onto those two players. KSA as well getting in on the chips. But so far, that is standard VP. You're gonna expect Yobib do that, you're gonna expect KSA do that, you're gonna expect Cetra get a 1-tap, not a 3-tap. So, a bit of expectations being blown away here by Virtus.pro. Looking at the default, it's a bit of an understatement to call this one an expedited default because Cetra is finding those skills. I'm not gonna lie, I expected that one when he was trying to peek out. But Reknart, though, we'll find out Yobib forcing Virtus.pro into a possible mid-push.
So the arms of Reknart and fires as well. Two spearheads from Veteran. Coming up against the KSAK, and Reknart pulls in on the kill towards KSA. Kellar on the trade to make it a 3v3. Reknart spots him out, trying to duel up against the IGL. And he's calling for the support. That's 3 players in front of Kellar. Swintism gets isolated. EV9 also becomes the second victim. Kellar will pick up all the victims inside of that mid-fight. As it's Reknart all alone, 1v2 for Veteran. The opener has to be the closer. But he can't even dish any sort of damage onto Cetra. He's tucked in towards his bunker position. All the time in the world for him to wrap around towards exit.
Hard situations here, man. I mean, Keller, he was the one stuck in the door. But it's his opponents who are less and below mid. As he will take Curate, Reknart, no wait, a 1v1, but Keller still making sure that his opponents are indeed below mid as they take the 3-0. Veterans trying to look for answers here. When in plain sight, you just have to run them down. That position was really awkward for Keller, but he made a wonder out of it. Not to mention that opener from Cetra, right? You're gonna see here the replay. Kellar gonna get one, gonna be stuck towards the door. He had a chance to reload. Imagine that. So I feel like Veterans not even capitalizing the windows of opportunities here for the side of their wins. And Kellar willing to use the window on side A to do so. So with that 3-0, you're gonna see another one of these mid specials from Kellar. The rest of the boys from Virtus.pro just going to continue ransacking towards LB. But they have a fight with EV9. Forced down to 7-7. Has to back away here towards bypass. And so far, so good in terms of the macro for VP. They're getting the space. Might get a kill. Indeed will get a kill. And KSA is gonna go for more.
He's getting hungry for more kills, man. As EV9, he peeked into his death. Reknart tried to trade, but in the end, KSA is just dominating this hotel push to deny any sort of map control away from Veteran, with Shaka trying to peek in towards Cetra. And that is not what you want to do up against the best sniper in the Philippines right now. To force out Veteran in the 2 versus 5. Fires just hunting for Elvin, but Elvin from the hunted becomes the hunter. Myers taken down. It's all just left up to Twintism. And in the peak, it's another AK-47 picked up for Elvin to pick up the last player for Veteran. 4-0 and a timeout called for Veteran. They're finally realizing that they actually have timeouts.
I mean, I think they realized that once they got to overtime in Atras. This time they're calling it earlier because this is no Atras, man. This is Virtus.pro. And as much as they suck currently in terms of the statistics, it's also one of their better maps in previous years, right? If you're gonna think of Virtus.pro, you're gonna think of Port, you're gonna think of Ankara sometimes, you're gonna think of Eagle Eye as well. But then again, Stallions took over the Eagle Eye position sometimes some seasons ago, right? So yeah, still in their bag, but not as much considered. Virtus.pro, a different beast altogether. But now, for Veterans, we need to dissect how they're losing, right? You see that 3-man fight towards LB Hotel and second mid. I feel like the idea here for veterans is they think this is a closed space where they can just trade it out, but in reality, it's just a wide open shooting gallery if you are from the perspective of the BL side. So no matter where they come from three angles or not, each of these boys on the screen wearing orange, it can take you out. Especially the guy with the colored hair. I don't think he has colored hair anymore. The sniper, basically. But yeah,
Etc.
that's the problem here for veterans. They think that they can surround the space by taking all these kinds of positions and take the fights from these angles. But little do they know, Virtus.pro rather is good at taking you out from all these kinds of angles. So what I suggest here is bring out that double TRG, or rather put Quintism in a position where he can challenge that LB angle. You're not gonna worry about that A side rush. You're not gonna worry about that mid door rush because that's where they use their default here for the side of Virtus.pro. What you rather do is take out their initial picks towards LB because you know that KSA and Yobe will try to get that space. And then all the while, if you get a pick or two, right, you continue rotating towards the other sides.
It doesn't help as well for veteran that they've been tunnel visioning on not only the LB peak that they've been doing, but also towards door mid, which is ironically also the strongest point that they've had in that Atras game. They've been spamming that on their BL side. And ironically, it doesn't work out the same effect when they started on GR right now. But again, we made the comparison. This is not a trust at all. It is Virtus.pro taking matters into their own hands 4-0 in their BL side.
Yeah. Did they do the double TRG? Where is Quintism? Well, he took a far back angle this time around towards the side A. That's at least a direction or a point towards the right direction, right, Ramon? So I feel like he's going to be utilized more towards as a rotator, leaving A to be taken from passage or lane. Maybe, but yeah, all in all, they want to secure mid. They want to secure a retake towards A, wherein they're trying to fight towards B. But yeah, Keller again on the mid door shenanigans, going to take -1 here on veterans, and the rest of Virtus.pro is slowly but casually walking towards side A.
With how open A side looks like, it's mostly Kellar versus veteran at this point. With 4 people in front of them, decides to just go back to his teammates. Let them plant, let them get the objective. Even I get spotted by Elvin on the mid peak as well, as veteran will only get the one shot onto Yobe, but at least they have something to talk about. Into the 3 versus 4 retake. Double flank coming through for Reknart. And he gets shut down by the AK-47. Shock doesn't show himself immediately, but Elvin will also immediately flick onto the head as Virtus.pro take a clean sweep towards A side.
Okay. With Virtus.pro, no. I'm not gonna entertain the thought here, Ramon. STS did a 10-0 twice versus TB. VP looking to do it to the better Rosea team. Quintism though will get the first here onto Elvin. The hider got sought out, and now with the 4 men remaining on the Bears here, looking to just convert towards LA.
Oh. Double peek, and then a jumping shot. Kellar will take one and a second as well for KSA. Veteran with the effort they had on LA, it did not do anything. They did get the 2 kills, but veteran have the pace and they already have Hotel.
As much as they get Hotel here, right, you still gotta worry about Regnart. Well, I'm not sure about the effectivity of him holding Site B here, but you still have a guy that's at least manning this area. Problem is, he has his attention divided towards second mid and Site B. So if I was him, I'm gonna call over EV9, where trouble is in paradise here.
Headshot found on Eobib. Bit of a roadblock for Virtus.pro as they come into the B side with a bonus kill onto EV9. Cetra on top. And Cetra has always been on top with 3 kills on the sniper. Virtus.pro with a 6-0.
You can't even call it stat padding at this point because that is what he does on the regular. Much like LR, he doesn't do this regularly. Usually he takes the fights closer to the door, but don't mind if I do, Shock. That's a man down for veterans now, scrambling to rotate and cover. Fire is gonna take a bit of a fight, but disregards it nonetheless. Quintism here to answer.
Trying to bait out Quintism. Calls upon the smoke on play, and Quintism gets caught. And Kellar looking to get some more kills. He's getting full with the buffet of veteran right in front of him, rushing towards that exit spot. and tries to claim more kills. Kellor is hungry. He wants to eat every single member, but EV9 says, "You can't eat me, my friend. You'll have to take me down." 2 versus 4.
And this is a situation where you're kind of in a chokehold by Virtus.pro. You have Yobib right here on the mid doors. You have 3 members towards the side. Yobib's gonna take one, and the second is not gonna be far too soon, right? That's still gonna be Yobib. I thought it was another guy spamming to passage, but yeah, 7-0 here for Virtus.pro. You're gonna have to continue on the topic of are these guys that good, or does veterans feel like this is just too hard of a fight, right? I mean, Quintism's gonna get that kill. Kellor's gonna be put to a stop here towards door mid. But does that really answer the issues here, Ramon? I feel like it doesn't, right? It only makes Virtus.pro think more creatively.
At least that takes care of the dormant problem that they've had in a lot of the early rounds in Eagle Eye. That's 3-4 nades! And Cetra was the one who called that above everybody who called the nades. It was Cetra. Remember what happened in the grand finals of spring. Cetra wanted to be the one to do that, but in the end, Veteran will deal the finishing blow in this round. They finally get the set in this Eagle Eye map.
Looking like the World Cup stat line here, Ramon, but not in a good way. This is what we call, if you remember 2014, the gentleman's sweep here for the side of, well, if you guys know the countries in 2014, well, you guys are ball knowers, but no knowing ball here towards LB because there's no ball to be thrown except an explosive one at that towards Hotel. And I feel like with this point on the board, Veteran can instill some life within themselves, but can be extinguished all that quickly as well by the boys' swords at LA. Elvin and KSA, very deadly when it comes to it, but so is Twinsism if you give him a chance to, find a spark within him. Shock, but to be put in a very, very dangerous scenario once these two guys start ransacking. Util will be thrown smoke to at least dissipate their entryway, but Shock, he's in for very big trouble here.
Especially since he's alone. And Alvin just gonna take him down. Jumping classic coming through. And EV9 gets the 2K, but not enough. It still will get themselves the ace side execute. Veteran. Here comes the peak coming through from Twintism. Finally on the tower shot. He takes the IGL down. Now we have a close 2v2 retake. We can finally sink our teeth in it.
You think it's close to V2? Cetra's still alive. They have the bomb down. They can attack this from 2 different angles, but Yobib is aware.
And it's not close anymore, just like that. Yobib with the one shot. And Reknart will take down Cetra now. It becomes more interesting. Forcing up the 1v1 against the Golden Boy. And Reknart will take the 2 kills for himself. Veteran answer back with a second round win.
Yeah, but he's closing out the first half with 2 rounds in their bag. I mean, come on, VP, you gotta get caster first sometimes. That was deserved. And I feel like I feel like they kind of played that situation solo. I mean, Cetra, as much as he is good, he's gonna think that he can take the shot at Bunker, but they know that he was too close there, Reknard. So yeah, Veteran's getting 2. Side switch though, we're gonna be seeing, I would say, a harder side of Virtus.pro. You're gonna see Cetra anchoring, and that is not a dream at all for Veteran. It is a dream if you want to improve, you want to challenge one of the better snipers here in the Philippines, but then again, how many tries do they have, right? Like, they have 3 tries at max. And if they don't win any of those tries, well, we're gonna be saying goodbye to this first map. But yeah, Veterans, at least, right, they can finally show off what they've been practicing or what they've been cooking here at Eagle Eye, because number one, this is their map pick, and they wanted to go here. Let's see what you can actually dish out.
Pretty much a good sign as well that they're willing to take this map. The research around kind of maps VP haven't been prioritizing, as well as getting the map that they also got good signs as well because of their past performances here in the groups. But let's listen to the comms.
Okay, Lace.
Di ako alam.
Pay mo na ako.
Wala lang makita.
Diyan na kayo ah.
Okay. Whoa! That's an opener here by Fires. Cetra though, trying to find a reply. Gonna get ghosted here by the boys at Veteran. So reset. Let's look forward towards Elvin here. He's very deep in LB. See if he's gonna get given a fight. Cetra's still looking for his own. But I like that from Veterans, poking and prodding. But where's the prodding led them up to right now?
Oh. They put KSA hard enough to actually get the kill. Conversion has to be set in. This is the same kind of tempo that we saw up against Atras.
Oh, Elvin.
But still, the difference in quality. Have to be on Elvin right now. LP. Spotted out by Reknard. The spray from the AK is not good enough. Reknard sweeps him with the HK 417. Hotel secured. Cetra trying to salvage the sort of B-site control that they still have. They spotted him over towards that second mid. But KLR rushing on towards Fires. He knew that somebody was lurking around the shadows. As Setwart now gets the kill here on Reknard. He's second from Setwart. This is the best player in SCA right now. And you do not want to contest him. You do not want to contest Setra. He gets a 4K in the round. Virtus.pro gets it up to 82.
Okay. All the extra here from Cetra. But it's just the normal day from him. That's what he actually just takes. You know? I mean, Veteran, they don't even stand a chance. Even with the flash, even with everything being thrown, Shackdo will try to do something towards mid doors. KSA is ready for the bite. Turns out he's gonna go punch it himself. That's a 1 and a second here for Virtus.pro.
Okay, KSA with a 2K as well. Veteran on that door mid spot. It's not gonna work out up against VP. Yobib has to be careful. You do not want to push up against Yobib. Now he has the TRG. But Reknard's pushing in. Takes down the Golden Boy. 2 versus 4. KSA noted on the position. That's why Reknard's been spotting him out. On the left side, Kellar taken down. But KSA still relinquishing control away from VTR. As KSA picks up the 4K. The KSA K47 is on top with a 92 scoreline.
I can also call him the KSH K47. Bit of a stretch, but that's what he used to finish out the round. Veterans with still 2 on the board, not gonna be finding anyone here towards mid doors, but knock knock, who's there? It's Kellar, and you're not looking right at him.
Oh no. Veteran doesn't want to take the brunt of this knock knock joke. And they're not laughing anymore. Kellar! He is hunting him down. Another onto Kellar. Man, oh man. Virtus.pro wants to end this right here, right now. And when Alvin, late on the crossfires, is able to take him down. But there's a lot of legwork to do. Fires, you have to go huge here. Gets the 2K, IGL down, but the Golden Boy, the Dark Prince of Crossfire, will end the shenanigans in the Eagle Eye map, 10-2.
What a victory here for the side of Virtus.pro. We expected nothing less. I mean, perfection was there, but the gentlemen that they are going to give some rounds to our boys over at Veterans. And I mean, that was a funny coincidence for that final round, right, Ramon? I mean, you see Kellar in mid doors, the place where he likes to get his kills. 2 members of Veterans go past right him. And then he said, depends if I get 3. And he actually got 3 and closed off the story here, 10-2. And yeah, I feel like Veterans, they could have gotten 3, but nah, 2 was just too much, you know.
Too much indeed, right? We can give them a few things to celebrate, right? At least they gave us a little bit of a show compared to their Rosea brothers, right? I mean, it was a struggle, let's be real. There was still some struggle coming into this Eagle Eye map, and that's to be expected. But the way that they try to handle themselves individually, the way that they fight up towards that door mid, the way that they try to contest up in that LA position, that was impressive. From the way that they've been entering, from the way that they try to figure out how they can get the execute going. They are hitting their shots. Let's be real about that. But it's not consistent enough up against a Virtus.pro that have seen similar playstyles just like that. Then they kind of just know how to dismantle that. It's been their bread and butter, man.
Yeah, it's really their bread and butter. Nothing too specific being brought out here from Virtus.pro. Veterans, as much as they tried, you know, getting the duels out of the way. You can't really do that. I mean, if Stallions was a hard match in terms of dueling, these guys are also gonna be harder because they can win the duel and they are thinking about how they can win it efficiently, right? So a better tactical team, this Virtus.pro and Veteran side, yeah, you can challenge teams that are mechanically good because you guys are also good at that. But what if they're smarter than you, right, Ramon?
Exactly. Smarter than you, have a lot more experience than you, and right now they're also topping the charts. So definitely a big wall placed up in the form of Virtus.pro up against Veteran as they claim themselves Eagle Eye. And that's it for this set. We're going to be throwing it over to the panel to talk a little bit more about Eagle Eye right now. So Mochi and Bipolar are standing by.
And now we're here. Thank you so much, our casters
sitting.
and Bipolar. Yeah, we're sitting right now. I think that's true. But at the same time, here for Veteran, I feel like what's no longer true for them, I'm sorry, my table is shaking because of my cat, is the fact that they were no longer quite close here against Virtus.pro, especially after the improvements that we've been able to witness and how Virtus.pro has been able to adjust things on their end, ensuring that they're already in their tip-top shape and form, and how Cetra, oh dude, this person is just insane every single time, and even how KSA has been able to outman every single one. You know what? That's also a really great thing for KSA is the fact that he's very flexible in terms of the loadouts that he's using, and Annie is fine. But here for Veteran, despite the fact that here for Fires is finally here, unfortunately it isn't enough in order to top all that.
Yeah, Mochi, I feel like they need divine intervention here to actually win more rounds than 2 points, right? We saw Veteran play very well here in the Eagle Eye map, and I feel like that was the one thing that they were banking on. They played well on Eagle Eye 2.0, but they didn't realize it was still Virtus.pro. And we saw some highlights here coming in from Cetra, and the rest of the crew really just played well. You know, Veteran, not really as explosive as we once saw them, right? It's not the same Veteran that was actually getting some pickups right early in the round. It was just Cetra playing so much that he had a fun time. We saw one round wherein it was, I believe, it was Reknart in a 1v2, but he was just getting toyed by Cetra, jumping all around through the boxes with his sniper missing his shots. But all in all, it was just a bad fight for Veteran. Even if they were on the BL side, it was still 8-5. But now look at that shock, man. I am so shocked from that. But nonetheless, it's still Virtus.pro, right? We can't really give him a lot of, like, you know, bad mouth sure, just because it is still a team that is now looking to be the standard of Filipino Crossfire. KLR 16-7 in terms of KD. You have Cetra that is in 14-3, 100% rating on 2 of these star players. And Virtus.pro, man, I feel like they really are here to dominate the field and to really be the, you know, to steal the spotlight, to steal the spotlight up against any kind of team.
Yep, and definitely, as you have mentioned, it does appear here that for Veteran Rector has been able to be the only person here to hold out during this entire fiasco. And unfortunately, there's been a lot of struggles on their end, and I guess it's also just a fact that despite them being able to actually know themselves that this is their best map, unfortunately there's someone's better, and that is Cetra with a 4.67 KD and 100% rating, which I'm no longer surprised, honestly, by Bowler. You know, at this point, Cetra is always present wherever we go. He is there from the shadows in the spotlight. He's just doing what he does best.
Yeah, Cetra, you're always so extra, man, in terms of performing. You're always giving us your best kind of performance every time. Even here up against Veteran, right? We thought there would be a matchup up against individual snipers, but it looked like it wouldn't happen in Eagle Eye. But again, we do have still port here for both of our teams and as well as Ankara. But let's see later on in set number 2, we'll see if Veteran gets the score.
And hopefully that we can see more fight for Veteran as we head on to a quick short break before we get into additional action. Hello everyone, and we're now back here onto our match that is still Veteran against Virtus.pro, where earlier on, Veteran only managed to get a couple of rounds against them in the map of Eagle Eye, which they're very much pride themselves upon, but unfortunately not anymore after that. But now, we will be landing into the map of Port here, Bipolar.
Yeah, I'm actually interested in the port, right, for these two teams, just because we saw a very formidable BL side here for Virtus.pro, wherein they are going for a sweep up of the every kind of angle that they can go for before they go into a side. And if when we go towards the GR side here of Veteran, they have actually a pretty good time here. Funnily enough, because if Virtus.pro doesn't go for that, disrespectful play, just like any other team up against Veteran, they can Veteran can actually pick off these players one by one from these four-man pushes, these like calculated BL side approaches for Virtus.pro. But Veteran, you are going to be started on the BL side, so I'm looking at Twintism here again on how he will be trying to go for these entry frags on the LB side.
And hopefully that he'll be able to step up alongside the other members here for Veteran in order to make this a closer match. That is why it is time for us to hand it over to our casters, El and Ramon.
Thank you so much, Mochi and Bipolar. The map of Port for the side of Virtus.pro and Veteran waits for us, with Virtus.pro on their way to sealing the victory. Now, Veteran, I think they have, we've been saying the word challenge time and time again, right? But it really is that clear sign. This is one of the maps that they like to prioritize, right? Especially with the 5 times that they played up against. But considering the opponent on the other side, man, it's just gonna be brutality that awaits for us. 4 times that Virtus.pro has played this, 100% win rate across both BL and GR, 79% and 70% win rate. What does that mean to you? This map is not GR sided for Virtus.pro. This is a VP sided.
I mean, what does that mean to me, Ramon? Good question. Good question, and the answer is STS. You should ban this map on Sunday. That's my answer to you. But I mean, that's going to be my answer for every team that's going to be trying to play against Virtus.pro, is that you ban Port. New Mexico is nothing. You can play the New Mexico, not their Port, man. Because if you're looking at the stats, just like you said, 75% win rate across all rounds, 100% win rate on this map. This is Virtus.pro, and this is a map that they will extract every single playtime out of, especially that every time it's open, they win on it. It's supposed to say that veterans can do a dent, right? I mean, sure, they're pretty known for being, a Rosean team playing in the Rosean map. That is sport, right? So, I mean, that narrative goes out of the way when you face against Virtus.pro in this map. It's really, really such a hard contrasting of, let's say, ideas. But who knows, right? Maybe they can bring out a punch or two. They can surprise something here against Virtus.pro, and let's hear it.
Sam. Sing. Mas. Buta ko. At lagi, jang. Dah. Sabar. Reset. Awas belakang.
Mabalik.
Oh, doon.
Ooh!
Oh, they fire off a push over towards LB, and they also expect LR. You heard the one word, reset. They were expecting the flank coming through for VP at this point.
Yeah, that's a very, very good call here. I'm expecting that's going to be Fires or EV9, right? But Cetra already making a smart here. Gonna get the first shot. And if we seen Eagle Eye, we know that he's good for 4. He's good for everything if you give it the chance. But Veterans, seeing a semblance of a round here and a man advantage with Fires in the proper position, gonna get himself known with that utility. Looking to get around in a headshot.
Ooh! What a shot for Fires! Do another one on to Cetra. And we can go back and forth onto this. Cetra, what do you got? 1v3 on the clutch. Statistically, leading in that kill for death ratio. And he has to shoot up in the kill department if he wants to. Actually start off strong for Virtus.pro. A shot onto Fires with a beautiful one tap from the Colt. He needs 2 more. EV9 will spot him down after the whiff on the TRG. Veteran starting strong.
Yeah, live and die by the TRG, etc. Well, he usually really does that. And survive by the Colt. I mean, he sometimes does that as well. But with the sim, well, he's a very different player. Let's see if he can get the shot. Oh, -1, not gonna be enough here, Ramon. But at least finally, no, they hear that Virtus.pro is contesting for Store B. Doesn't They don't know how many members they're willing to, put here. So I guess this veteran approach towards mid and maybe a squeeze towards CA would be good. But then again, they are open towards the Z angle.
They lined up for a flash coming through towards CA. Veteran are taking mid control very meticulously, especially with how much they respect VP at this point. The attempt on the Ninja now result into a mid push. KLR sprays them down with the M14. This is the VP. It's much up to our expectations. KSA on the drop. And now it's all down towards Fire is better. Fire is not going to do a damn thing. Virtus.pro with a 1-1.
Quite a bit of a round there. Flash over. Keller and Yobib takes the deal. And they end up flawlessly. Without losing any members. Zero though, challenge. Gets the fire out. And with the second one, gets fires out. Okay, I did not expect my bar to go word for word there. But there we go. Fires is out after that fire from Cetra.
Exactly. The flow that the VP are in. They're in the flow state as we see it. Wall bank shot over towards Shock as VP are just layering down every barricade. LB mid side as well as the LE position. By every member of VP, these are security guards. He's trying to deposit in coming to the bank. Unfortunately for Veteran, they realize that they don't really have the money to deposit as well. Kalar, 2 kills in fact. Now we get on just Twintism and EV9. Can they get more out of this LB push? KSA with an AK and a smoke in the other side? Says no.
Yeah. With EV9 then, I want to point out something. I like that the Rosea team is evolving in how they try to explore port. You see Reknart doing the ninja? Like, sure, it was an awkward ninja. Like, it was one of the slowest ninjas that we've seen, but at least they're trying, right? They're growing legs. It's like a fish out of water. Reptilians, you may call them, but no, the Komodos of Veteran trying to ransack towards mid BR here. They're gonna go towards Z, but look at this. 3 members of Virtus.pro right here.
They're going from ninjas into butchers as KSA gets sliced down, but yo, baby, he's the real butcher. He takes 2 off of Veteran before the clutch comes in for Shock on the trade. 3v3. Lots of damage onto the mid setup for VP. But Elvin waits and the Rat King strikes onto Fires as well. KLR just wraps in towards Shock. There is no entry point for Shock anymore. It's all down to just Twintism. Stuck on that LA spot. Got on the shot on Elvin. Makes it all the more interesting to make this 1v2 clutch that much more bearable.
Gonna have to fight Keller and Cetra though. I mean, Keller you can suffice, but Cetra, hard bargain. But maybe, you know what? I'm at a loss for words. It's too fast to happen here. Cetra, no words can describe how fast he is when it comes to these duels with the snipers. But yeah, maybe gotta get some pal shots towards mid again. Gonna try to go for more here, but look at Veterans are about to ransack the same thing. Quintism is not gonna give up Store B so easily.
Quintism? Contact on the sniper. Looking at his movement, he wants to prioritize that Z control. Unfortunately, he's on top. KSA underestimates Swintism. Gets the shot from the KLR and Elvin. Put the reality check into Veteran. You can get LB, but we'll take 2 out of you.
4v3 situation. Twintism dead man walking. So far, everything points towards a VP round. But with this reset incoming, right, you take out KSA. What's your problem right now, Cetra? He's going to be marking LA. So with this movement towards Store B, I feel like Veteran's still banking on the fact that, they took control of this space earlier. We took one down, and I believe they know that only Yobi is going to be here. They take the fight.
He takes the ego check to it.
Oi!
Gets the kill, gets the second, and Yobib is just slicing through Veteran. Like fresh sashimi in the market. 4-1 for Virtus.pro. and the momentum just keeps on swinging.
Much like a pendulum at this point, much like a metronome, nothing's being taken out of beat here by Virtus.pro. It's just how they like it. This dance in court, right? Like usually you're gonna see them contesting towards CA, but this is a new look. One that I feel like we might get to see if this map gets opened in their final bout in this group stage. But then again, right, you expect this map to be one of their leading factors of a victory. Well, they should have some form of evolution here as well, much like Veterans doing right now towards CA. Attempting a ninja might be a good segue into the later parts of the round, but from the looks of it, Ramon, Elvin is in a bit of trouble if and only if these guys from Veterans do the pinch, but Cetra's right there to support him.
Exactly, that's why Cetra's in that position. You never expect them on the drop as they will get 3 kills just from 2 players on LA. But Reknard and Shock already on the site. Shock's already on top of Cetra with the 2K. Hold on. The damage has been done over to LA. Forcing KSA and Yobib to try to gatekeep this C4, and it drops onto Yobib. He even gets the second kill. Virtus.pro will take control of this 5th round.
Yeah. I mean, I would say flashes of brilliance here from Veterans, but then again, the shutter is instantly gonna go down, and Shock with the shock factor towards mid. Cetra's out, and this could be easily one of their better rounds if they could capitalize on more advantages.
Yeah, throw the ninja out the window, because Shock just wants to surprise them. KSC not looking, and Yobib is taken down! That's the shock factor we've been looking for, and Veteran need to capitalize on this. CalR with 1, and unfortunately for Veteran, he gets more than just 1. Back to the even ball game, 2v2 and possibly a retake.
Okay, so Virtus.pro, they kind of thought this was a fake towards A, but with that C4 being set down, now it's Veteran to play the numbers here and play the numbers indeed. With that clock winding down, Fires is ready. Is he for the fight? But Kellar, oh! He's gonna miss!
I like that swing. Kellar never expected that, not even from a mile away. So how do you deal with this high-low now? Elvin, I don't think he's giving info over to Veteran. Spots out the first player, but not on top of Fires. As Veteran, they got tricks up their sleeve, man. They don't get the ninja, but they get the better of VP in that round.
Yeah, but are they willing to cash out right then and there? With these cards that they've shown, can they take the pot higher? Can they make their bets bigger here? Get possibly a 4-5? See that replay, it was pretty tight. You see Keller getting 1 and 2. Then Fires just getting this random shot with the AK. Probably picked it up from KSA or someone. But yeah, much there is to it here for Veterans. KSA gonna try to get 1 and more. Reknard stuck in the middle of everything.
Sweeping down with just that AK-47. Maintaining that LB control, but Veteran have sights lined up for the mid side. CalR is gonna put that forced doorstop onto EV9. Shock gonna drop in and possibly just contest up against him, but he's deep into enemy territory. And Yobib, he got contest up against Shock. He gets the kill, but Fires gets the support. CalR, wall bang, and Fires all alone. He's stuck between the mid side as well as CalR. And unfortunately for Veteran, VP get the 6-2.
So far, at least Veteran, they're trying to trade blows, right? They're trying to punch back. But it's just the speed and the flurry of these punches from VP. All the manifact. Because these guys are just floating like butterflies and stinging like bears. The claws of Shock is there again, but he gets traded out by Cetra instantly.
Cetra doesn't get the second shot. Unfortunately, accuracy is not the highest for how he's been defending this Z control. And Veteran putting a bit of pressure on the sniper, and he even peeks into 3 players, but whiffing the shot. Veteran taking advantage. They take the kill onto Yobib. They have to get the C4. And if they want to take down KSA, they have to do it now. Spray from Reknard is good. Elvin all alone. It's been a
He's
long
getting wrapped
time
around.
since he's seen his spring performance, and that's why spring is a far stretch from summer, as veteran will get a decisive B push.
And we go back to that joke, Ramon. Are they gonna get 2 rounds? Depends if it's 3. And they got 3 rounds. We're gonna swap the side. And we're gonna hear the communications once again.
Baka push ah. Eto mo kay LA. Red flash nga ako.
Gilid mo, gilid ito.
Red flash ako.
Diyan na yun sa harap mo. Magawa bumulag. Buti ba niya barang?
Yo, pas dyan guys. Galit.
I wish we could translate what they're saying.
Here's an idea.
Mm-hmm.
Indonesian caster, but I rest my case. This time, 6-3. And if you take a look at the statistics, right, while this is a GR-sided map for VP, it's even more dangerous on their BL since they like to play the slow play style of just dissecting every sort of defense that they have, as he already gotten the bait out towards Fires. Reknot on 1-for-1. EV9 doesn't even support the push coming down on Z. EV9 will finally get the trade, but it's in return for Reknot. In the response, 3v3. Elvin got on the kill over to Twentism. Veteran are falling apart, and the pressure is just overwhelming.
So far, I feel like a VP, they kind of understood that Veteran's gonna try to go for the shock factor here once more, but he's down. 1v2 for EV9.
EV9 has been a high ceiling player as we know it. Shock gave him the window, but KSA has given the info on where he is right now. He has to wrap around, maybe give him a bit of space to work with EV9. Give us a show. Up against an Elvin, up against a KSA, but the high-low is beautiful from Virtus.pro. Another round in towards their BL side.
Yeah, and to talk about what you said, Ramon, right? They have a dangerous BL side because of how they take mid, specifically CA. These guys, well, I would not say that they did not take CA this time around, or like in the previous round, but still, their idea is towards mid. If they take CA, they have a part of the map that's just unbearably hard to retake for the side of the GR, and if you try to force situations there, it could end up going to the way of the BL even more so haphazardly, right? So this time, VP, I feel like they're not doing it as fast as they want, but they are going to be doing it regardless. Keller is going to be right here. I think veterans know that. They've been watching a lot of sport videos on demand. But still, yeah, there goes the VPCA. As far as going to punish this, or Elvin doesn't take the punishment. No, there's a one. How about second?
Doesn't get the second. Golden headshot on the Kellar, so that's already some damage done. 4 versus 4. Twentism plays the sniper like a shotgun, even though he's blinded. It's a bullseye onto KSA, but Yobib waits patiently and finally gets his reward. 3v3. Yobib not in the position. How did he get the shot on the EV9? That is crispy like Chicharron. Reknart will get that trade, but it is do or die for veteran. It's a 2 versus 2.
Okay, I don't know if they know veterans that the C4 is down, but a VP, they tried to make a commotion here towards the B site. They threw some sort of utility. They're gonna find out the Ceres towards mid though, so that might be opening up Shock to a fight here, but he's going to get wall banged. They have to go for the reverse boost.
The C4 is the least of their worries, man. They're not even thinking about the objective. They're thinking about where to hunt down a Reknart. Every member of veteran marked on the map. And Cetra alone on LA, but you know the caliber that Cetra can offer to the table is the bait. And here comes the trap. Elvin gets that headshot. Virtus.pro make it look so simple.
Elvin was 1 HP. While all that was happening, Ramon, that was such a hard round to watch and even spectate if you are one of the dead veterans members watching that clash. But
Yeah.
Kellar is gonna get more than what he can shoot here. No, never mind.
Just one. Yes, the second. And 14.
Oh!
Kellar just gonna show them how this USP goes, and with the 4K, Kellar is just eating veteran alive. A
Never
solo
mind.
man inside B site. And they have
He took
planted
the
that
whole buffet.
C4. Shock in a 1v5. This is brutalizing to watch. VP are hunting them down like bears, crumpling over a piece of meat on top A. And he's not even going for the plat right now. Shock, trapped, gets the kill on Cetra, but not on the AK. Virtus.pro gets set point.
Call that the all-you-can-eat by KLR. I said before the action happened, he's gonna get more than he can shoot. Turns out he can shoot them all and spit them right back out with the ace. Elvin's gonna take a lot of damage, but he's still alive. KLR with a leading performance here, outshining Cetra for a bit, but nah. We talked about it. We talked enough about their sniper. Let's talk about the IGL. Getting 17 frags. Not much headshots. That's not a concern for Virtus.pro though for this season. They've been testing it out with the... Well, I would like to say AKs, but looking at Cetra, he's rocking that HKY though. It is him about to meet the broad force of the Bears, but he has backup. Question is, can he take more than one?
Especially in this position. Could be lucky to even get one. As the spam comes through, and Cetra is the first victim. Second over towards Elvin as well. And he's alive. Damn. Quintism actually dealt a lot of damage over to VP before they can get to site. Now with the nades coming down, M14 is spraying on forward. KLR trying to deal as much damage as possible. But the wraparound for Reknart. They try to take down the IGL. It is impossible to even fight up against KLR right now. He has taken over this port map. Yobib on the flank as well. And Fires left all alone, flashed up. And they're just gonna wrap around towards that east side. The Fires cannot do a damn thing. The Virtus plow in port, securing the 2-0.
Oh, what a plow indeed. And if this is to speak of the harvest for the summer, then I would like to think that the bounties are golden here for their flight to Paris. At least that's the target. Virtus.pro 2-0 here, Ramon. And I mean, props to veterans for holding their own, getting 3 rounds. But then again, right, any team can turn into a Russian team when it is Virtus.pro in port that you have to face, right? I mean, who do we have here as for an example? Let's say Matches, right? Say Matches is one of the victims here. Who else? I would not say Execration because they got 2-0'd by them. Let's say Atras. Not technically in port, right? But you know where I'm getting at. The rest of the teams, even CPF, getting rolled over here very, very dangerously. But yeah, that's just the Virtus Sport effect, right? And if you're looking for the future of this team, I mean, I have them as one of my bets going to Paris for EWC. But then again, right, a lot of people are still banking on the boys of Black and Orange of a different hue and a different animal to beat them. But then again, Port is still gonna be the map where these guys are gonna take the fight to them.
Surely an interesting series that we watch to kind of talk a little bit more about the state of VP right now, right? Especially coming into the next games up against STS. With the state of both teams right now, you can kind of tell where the power level is at and where both teams are at in the Vimes perspective, right? I mean, a lot of questions now surround on how close the games are going to be tomorrow, especially with it being a BO3. I feel like VP have now secured one hell of a confidence boost coming up into this week, right? So with a fired up Cetra just like that, but Kel are not only hitting a lot of good calls, but also picking up the top frag for this port map. I think it's safe to say that VP are in their most dangerous set yet. So with that being said, we're gonna be throwing it over to the panel. So I guess Mochi and Bipolar are just sitting by with dissecting this whole series.
You got that right. Thank you so much, our casters. And bro, this is painful for Veteran because think of it this way. Imagine that you already have this hope and you studied for a specific subject so hard, and then you realize that none of what you've studied is actually in the exam. And that is literally what Veteran has been able to face up against Virtus.pro in both of our maps. And here in Port, they've been slammed so hard given all of the plays that we've seen here from our players from VP.
Yeah, that was a fun match to watch, right? Mochi, Virtus.pro just getting all throughout, KLR being the top fragger for both sets almost, but it's Veteran not really having that limelight or that, veteran that we saw last time that went up against Atras, they were very, sloppy. Actually, I would like to say, I see veteran now improving, but this time it looks like it's a full day for them. It's not really the veteran that we know and love. But you know what, Shaq? Oh, my two-win. Oh, come on, he gave us a good fight here, from getting 2v1s, from getting like double kills every time. And I love to say it that this was a better performance compared to what they had on Eagle Eye. That's why I wanted Port as their as their first map, because this is what they can do in this kind of map, that they can easily just read the route easily despite them getting bombarded by Virtus.pro. But wow, Cetra, Kellar, Yobib getting some good plays. It was just nice to see that Virtus.pro is now gunning it for a 6-match win streak in the group stage to start off their playoffs. And if they do that up against Stallions, well, Virtus.pro, I'm telling you that you are not yet congratulated enough despite you had only one loss in the group stage.
Exactly, and I feel like Virtus.pro has a pretty much of a done and dusted deal here now playoffs. I mean, I feel like there's a little bit of uncertainty that will be headed to our semi-final, in all honesty. But let us see if there are some teams willing to prove that sentiment wrong. But for now, it is obvious. Now, Yobib, KLR, you know what? Everyone is just going bonkers in this map specifically, and especially, well, now that Fires isn't here, I didn't really expected that this would be the outcome in this port map, especially that we saw that Shock definitely bounced back after that first map that we had here in Eagle Eye, and he's been able to step up for a bit, but unfortunately, again, that is not quite enough as they lost with a 10-3 scoreline. And here in Virtus.pro, look at them. Kill R is just insane. I remember him popping off for 3 rounds in this map alone, and be able to be stable all throughout, just mandating and basically pasturing these members from veteran. And here for Yobib, it's just another day for him. I feel like I'm no longer surprised with the performance that we're having for both of these members, or the 3 of these members so far. They are definitely worthy to be praised in their own way, specifically in how they've been able to demolish veteran here. But only one stood tall, and our set MVP is going to be none other than the captain, KLR. And I do think that he is very much going crazy all throughout here in the map of Port Bipolar, which is insane.
Yeah, I mean, Kellar. Yeah, you're absolutely right. No, Kellar has been such a force here for these 2 sets, especially on Port, wherein he got an ace as well, which was very pretty nice.
Exactly.
I would like to say some honorable commendations though towards Elvin. This is one of his best performance so far in the group stage as well, just because he's getting outshined by these 4 top tier players. But KLR, man, a 3.17 KD and 100% rating. You are one hell of a beast. Last time that I saw this kind of performance from KLR was actually from 2 Masters ago. It was on Black Widow specifically. So to see him this kind of caliber as well, just slowly ranking up in terms of the rankings, in being one of the top fraggers in terms of IGL roles, it's pretty nice to see that they got out in 2 sets by only giving 5 rounds actually for these 2 maps that we have here. 2-10 and a 3-10 in favor still of Virtus.pro. Man, Virtus.pro, you are gonna be a scary opponent coming into the playoffs.
Exactly, and I do think that they gave a lot more rounds during spring, so this time is already much more improvement here for
It is.
Yeah, I mean, it's already quite of an obvious thing. We've been able to say that time and time again. But our match MVP, well, we're never gonna get tired of the captain himself being able to just show what he's made up with a 2.69 KD and still 100% rating. This is quite new for us, because it's no longer etc. It's no longer KSA. It's no longer Yobib. KLR has entered the chat again.
Yeah, and that's good to see Kellar back, right, in the match MVP. And para lang talaga maintindihan lalo na ating mga comment section as well as the viewers that is supporting Virtus.pro, will speak in Tagalog now. I mean, Keller, kakaiba ka talaga siya man eh. It's the IGL role na you have a fragger as well that kahit anong butas man yung mangyari dito sa Virtus.pro, tatapanan niya ni Keller because he has been holding high mid, gumagawa siya ng plays, and at that spot alone, no, yun sa Eagle Eye 2.0, that 1v1 na kalaban niya, I believe, it was direct card, he was in a bad spot but he still got out with a great kill para lang makuha nila doon yung isang shot yun. And I feel like there's no one stopping Keller because who can stop him? I feel like only himself, but I feel like only himself, pero I feel like that's not even a problem anymore. He can bounce back at any kind of situations, and the spray downs, man. KLR is not only good for one, he is always there to claim 3 lives, maybe even 5.
Tindi. I am not gonna be surprised kung makita natin siya bukas sa ating player highlights after that ace though. Kasi talagang pandudurog yung ginawa niya dito, no, sa ating mapa ng port. And it's pretty much I hope na hindi na shatter masyado yung confidence na meron tayo dito na for veteran, kasi biro mo inipon nila yun. Pero kanina pa lang sinabi na naman ni Ramon na magdasal sila, no, kasi hindi talaga magiging biro ang matatamasa nila dito against Virtus.pro. And I do hope that they did just that, you know, regardless of the beliefs that they have. Pero, again, no, grabe talaga yung mga highlights natin dito for KLR, and I do think that it's just right for us na i-welcome natin siya kasi makakausap natin siya ngayon dito sa ating interview desk. Kaya naman, welcome na natin siya, ang ating captain, KLR, our match MVP.
Ayan! Naku po! Ayan na! Ready na! Ready na yung ID! Ready na yung ID!
Pwede na yung visa. Ang daya, siya lang may visa. Iniiwan kami.
Ba't siya lang?
may
lang kayo. Diba? Ready ka na. Naku po. Ewan ko na lang talaga.
Naready na mga visa namin, yung libreng ticket na lang inaantay namin.
Yan!
We love the preparation dito, no, for VP. Grabe, no, KLR, congratulations ulit, no? Solid ang inyong pagka-match MVP dito.
Paano yan? Last year pa ako may visa.
Oy! Last year pa?
Sabihin pa,
Solid.
it's meant to be.
Totoo.
Pretty early, no? I mean, early bird gets the word nga, sabi nga nila, no? So, ginawa naman nila dito yun ngayon. So, congratulations, KLR. Alam mo, meron tayong mga katadungan dito at papasimulan to ni Bipolar, no? So, Bipolar, take it away.
KLR, alam naman natin, no, na you have been only having a 1 loss dito sa buong group stage natin, and I feel like this performance alone, pati yung 5-match win streak nyo ngayon, parang di pa siya congratulated enough. So, coming from the caster desk, mula na rin dito sa ating CROSSFIRE Philippines. So, congratulations, KLR. One thing to point out though, nakapag-prepare na kayo, and I feel like wala nang butas sa buong Virtus.pro. Sinabi nyo na kinailangan ng Master Spring para maging fully maging standard ang Virtus.pro sa pagiging players dito sa Filipino CROSSFIRE. Ngayon, next step for KLR pati sa Virtus.pro, ano na lang kailangang baguhin? Kasi you're already, I feel like nakikita namin wala nang butas sa Virtus.pro. What's the next step?
Siguro sa nakikita ng mga mata nyo is wala nang ang butas. Pero sa akin, dami pa namin butas eh. Ito kasing golden boy ko, minsan uma-absent. Yung entry ko, patanga-tanga minsan eh.
Nilalaglag
yung sniper ko, minsan palyado. Minsan gusto ko na lang kunin yung mga bar nila kung nagagamit lahat.
Ay!
Marami pa pala.
Kunin mo na roll nila, no, KLR?
Oo, ganun na nga lang eh.
Okay.
Parang ito may pula. Parang dati ibang team din na trash talk nila. Ngayon yung
Di ko
kapwa
in-expect
nga team nila.
yun.
Hindi ko rin in-expect yun, no? Pero, KLR, grabe, no? Sobrang ganda ng ating journey right now sa ating group stage. That's definitely something na gusto namin i-reiterate sa inyo, no? We're loving all of the things that we're seeing from Virtus.pro so far. And we're wondering, ano kaya ang kailangan namin abangan sa inyong laban ng Team Stallions bukas?
Siguro ang abangan nyo is yung magandang laban na ibibigay namin sa kanila. Yung nga, pag alam natin is malakas ang stallion pero dudugo utak nila. Yung lang yun.
Yeah,
Wow.
syempre, nandiyan si Keller no? May pahabol lang ako, Mocha. Keller, again, sinabi nyo na, nakaredy na visa niya doon ni Coach Shane. Dati pa, travel ng travel, Japan ng Japan, di ba? Kahit saan, pwede pumunta si 02, pati na rin ang buong Virtus.pro.
Basta wag papalya yung pasalubong ni Coach kahit saan siya pumunta.
Oo, yun lang. Tama lang yun, di ba? Tama lang yun. Pero Keller, eto na. we know naman and feeling ko alam mo din na you're not just gunning it for the trophy pero yung EWC slot natin, no? Anong message mo, do? Maraming nanonood outside dito ng ating Philippine, pati CEO ng Virtus.pro, alam ko nanonood ngayon. What's the message sa buong mundo and for the entirety ng EWC?
Ayun, ang message ko sa kanila is makakita kayo ng hindi nyo pa nakikita. Yung kulay na hindi pa nakikita ng mata nyo, makikita nyo sa paparating na EWC.
Ayan.
Wow!
Tama yun. Pero kailan, no? Sana, hopefully, no, ma-secure. May playoffs pa naman. Tama.
Mopsy. I'm
Playoffs
liking
man,
naman. So
playoffs
we have here from there so far, no? Grabe, congratulations ulit, KLR, no? Solido.
Ayan.
The floor is yours. Shoutout mo na yung mga gusto mong i-shoutout.
Maraming salamat nga pala sa Virtus.pro fans at sa ibang games ganun din, sa mga ibang games ganun din, sa CEO namin, sa manager namin. Maraming salamat. At saka sa mga kumparing tunay kay JC Ibanez at kay Aljan. Tapos sa mga kumari ko, yun, kay Ate Rian at dun kay Ate Neneng. Tapos sa mga kampi ko, kay Coach, sa pamilya nila, sa asawa ni Coach, sa nanay ni Coach, maraming salamat sa inyo. At shoutout din pala kay Sneaky. Boss Sneak, hinay-hinay lang po sa pag-a-analyze ha. Baka kasi yung kalaban natuturuan na hinay lang. Yan lang. Hinay lang.
Yeah, that's true. I can't argue with that. No?
Girlfriend ko din,
Yeah,
shoutout
baka
pala.
napapasobra. Maraming salamat, KLR. Salamat na rin sa reminder. And good luck sa inyo laban
Good luck,
bukas,
brother.
no? Give us a
Thank you.
very great fight.
Congrats, Kalar.
Yun. We're
Very
liking everything.
fruitful.
Very fruitful. And I love how everything just flows smoothly din dito, no, sa ating mga laban so far. And Virtus.pro, I do think that they're really having such of a great look right now, no, bipolar. I can't wait kung ano yung pwede nating makita pa sa kanila sa mga susunod na mga linggo natin at sa mga susunod na mga liga, and the moment na tumapak din sila sa ating EWC, especially na biro mo, preparado na, no? May mga visa na sila ganito kaaga. And by the way, ang susunod nating laban, nako po, ito na. Execration against Fervid Esports. Ang labanan ng langit at lupa. Second sa ating standings at ika-anim sa ating standings. Sinong mahuhulog at sino ang tataas pa? Bipolar, any last comments bago natin i-throw sa ating break? Kasi kailangan natin ng matinding paghahanda para sa susunod na match natin.
Ako siguro for this matchup, it's Cavite versus Cebu. It's a mix of both worlds, no? Very heavy to. Pero I also want to just look back dito sa Virtus.pro win natin a little bit. Everyone, I hope everyone's minds are open na there might be a new number one spot now pagdating dito sa CROSSFIRE just because of Virtus.pro's prevalence dito. Anything can happen, especially lanat yung nangyayari sa atin. Even for dito sa ating last two teams, no, for this day, they can possibly, make the world shatter from their performance. So I'm excited for these two teams.
And especially sa panahon ngayon, wala na talagang sigurado, no? Especially kung ganun nakatindi ang ating kompetisyon at lalo lang tumitindi habang lumilipas ang panahon. Kaya ngayon, guys, again, no, maya-maya abangan ninyo ang laban ng Execration and Fervid. Makukuha na kaya ng Execration ang paghiganting kanilang gustong matamasa simula nung spring natin. And for this phase 2, malalaman natin yan maya-maya.